Michael, great to chat to you. Just reflecting back on Paris in 2014, going into that, I know show jumping and across all the events were in a really strong position. Spoke to a few members of the team. Very unfortunate. It was literally the toss of a coin almost that we didn't come away with something to show for our efforts.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, and you've hit it right on the head there. Like after day one, we were in a good position. After we jumped, two of our three horses on day two, we were still in a good position, and we just didn't get the roll of the dice on that particular minute. I suppose when you look at the results that the Olympics did turn up, most of the teams haven't done that well since they were in the medals. Ireland were in a good place. We prepared well, and it just didn't really work for us on the day.
Well, listen, I suppose as we're halfway through 2015, the success and the form, I suppose, of 2024 has continued into this year. There's been some good results. A second, I believe, now in the Nations Cup standings at the moment.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't have the result that we liked last weekend, but we won two in a row. Just before that, we're the only country in the world at the moment to have won 2 5-stars, which it's great for us, and we're really happy with that. Obviously, you can't just think about that. You have to go forward. Like we have Aachen next week. We have a very strong team for Aachen. Then we have Falsterbo the following week. Then we have the European Senior Championships. And we'll roll on towards Dublin. We have a big year coming up, and obviously we're in the lucky position that without even competing in the last qualifier, we are already qualified for the World Finals in Barcelona. So there are teams that have Olympic medals that aren't going to get there. So,
and I know there must be still huge competition within the Irish team for places. As we always go, I'm sure there's a plan in place for yourselves for LA in 2028. But huge competition amongst the riders to secure the spots on the Irish team to get to the Olympics.
It's amazing because obviously we work with a minuscule budget compared to other countries, and the riders have to fund everything for themselves, and it's amazing that they're so patriotic, and they go to a Nations Cup and they want to keep the best horses for the Nations Cup as opposed to the Grand Prix, because obviously even when you win the Nations Cup, and it can be a good bit of money, that money is divided by 4, whereas if I suppose you go in the Grand Prix, I'm not sure if you're familiar with how it works. The Grand Prix is usually on the last day of the show, or it might be on the Friday, but we usually spare, our guys are so patriotic that they will spare their horses to jump the Nations Cup for the good of their country and for the good of the flag. And for me, I'm very proud to have anything to do with those guys.
Is that something you would like to see changed? I know from looking at the funding from the government from this year, there wasn't a huge increase, I think it's fair to say, despite the fact of the success of Team Ireland overall in Paris. There wasn't a really big jump in funding, and I think show jumping and horse sport Ireland is possibly in that category as well.
Yeah, I suppose I'm not a lobbyist by nature, but when you ask me the question, I believe our riders deserve some kind of financial recognition for what they do for our country on a weekly and annual basis. Like, it's a huge commitment to load up a lorry load of horses and bring them somewhere, knowing that even if you win, you're losing.
Yeah. Okay. And tell me about the plan for LA in 2028. What are the hopes, and what do you believe is possible for the current crop of horses and riders?
So, if you look at our recent win in Le Ball, and you look at some of the young riders, so on that team in Le Ball, obviously we had Cian O'Connor is a stalwart. He's been there a while, and I'd say he has every intention of keeping going. Haven't really had that full conversation with him, but he's his highest world ranking that he's ever had. And then if you look at the rest of the team, Bertram Allen has come on there with a very good new horse that luckily for us we believe isn't for sale, so that's going to help our country a lot. Then you have Tom Watchman, who's 20 years old, on a 9-year-old horse who jumped clear there and jumped clear again in Rotterdam at the weekend. Seamus Hughes can jump double clear in Le Ball, and jumped clear again for one time fault in Rotterdam, plus many, many more. So when you have, I suppose, nice younger horses, so if you add 3 to 9, it's 12, they're peaking. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And we have a number of those horses. We also have a few more riders coming with good horses, and we have riders looking, hoping that their owners are going to invest for them. So I think we will be better placed for LA than we've ever been, because I suppose we were just short of some really, really top horses. you know, maybe some horses were towards the end of their road or whatever. But like, we have horses that look like, you know, barring injury and disaster, that, you know, and we have enough of them probably that we're going to peak next time round.